So Arsenal 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Their first win for whatever, it's months. They've only scored one goal before today, Kenny, in their last 7 games. Up steps the Santa Claus Arsenal club that has allowed them to play us off the park, play pretty football, and absolutely dominate a game when you expect Arsenal to, after the Crystal Palace game, to show a bit of fight, a bit of passion, a bit of determination. And that didn't happen until 89th minute with Odegaard's goal. You was at the game, you're outside the ground. What did you make of that, mate?
Well, Brighton's man of the match is Mick Arteta. Mick Arteta's cost us this game. I don't care what anyone says. You can cuss me, call me toxic all you like, but football's a simple game, and it was only complicated by our dear manager. You know, it does, but you know, the Great Jacket experiment at left back never ever works long term, especially in a team like Brighton, who pack their midfields, who spring on a break. Yes, they don't score enough goals, and their possession and their domination of matches does not sort of reflect, you know, on their goal certificate. But when you look at a situation where you make it easy for them, you play just because Tierney's out. Just because Partey's out, you go and then balance the midfield. I don't see how it makes any sense. You would have thought that Granit Xhaka was needed in midfield to play alongside Sammy Lokonga. I mean, that's the first crime. It's not a play Xhaka in midfield. The second crime is to pack the midfield with 2 attacking players in Smith Rowe and Odegaard. So basically, what you're asking them to do is that when Brighton on the attack, they got about 2 spare men because they're not. Although Odegaard tries his best, Smith Rowe is not that experienced a player to play in a sort of defensive position when we don't have the ball. He just ain't got the experience. So again, you're leaving them spare men. But again, when you have Odegaard in midfield, you're asking him to play deep, go and fetch the ball when he's playing his best football, when he's closer to Lacazette and to our front three. That doesn't make sense. But Smith Rowe is even more criminal because everyone knows Smith Rowe's best football is played in the Frank Lampard position. Yet our manager, for some reasons, tries to experiment in a game where you need to get in the top 4. And don't get me started on the non-selection Tavares, because that was just criminal. That was mental. What was he playing at? You know, if you can't play Tavares, if you buy a left back who you rated previous to the Nottingham Forest game, you kill his confidence at Nottingham Forest. You kill his confidence again on Monday, and then you destroy his confidence. I mean, what sort of man management is that? This is an absolute, complete and utter joke. And we get bullied and hammered because we didn't celebrate enough after Villa away, and we didn't celebrate enough after the 2 Wolves game. We didn't celebrate enough. It's because we're saying one game at a time. Let it get to a situation where if we do, like I said, having injuries, we've got to calm down because there's so much football we played. But no, our fans want us to have a party after a game when we still feel that there's certain issues with this manager. And once again, he's proved that there's these issues. It's a simple thing. He was going well. Enough. We're giving him good marks in our player ratings. Why the hell does it take for your first choice midfielder, albeit your best player, and your left back, who hasn't been that great anyway, for you to panic and play up his formation? Can someone just explain to me why he handed Brighton the game on a plate?
Because he's tactically inept. People sit there and say he's tactically astute, Kenny. I don't see it. What was our style of play today? Does anyone know? Because all I see was us going backwards and sideways. There was no penetration, and it was just methodical, slow football. Like we'd already secured the top 4, and this was the last game of the season. It didn't matter.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell a lot of people. You know, they're sharing, players like Saka with praise, Odegaard with praise, Martinelli with praise. And I keep on saying, it's all about Thomas Partey. Because when Thomas Partey is on the ball, what he does is he screens the back 4. So so what's happening is that whenever teams try to get past the press, they've got to get past him, and he gives our back 4 players like Ben White the ability to come out with the ball and try and stretch teams and break that press. We weren't able to do that with Thomas Partey because guess what? Sambi was left in no man's land. He was playing the long passes, but he wasn't sort of making those sort of runs to the ball or protecting because he's never got the experience. So that's one way you miss Pi. Another reason where we miss partying, where Arteta really did French connection us, is that you're asking Odegaard to come from deep to collect the ball from Sambi and then try and do what he's not good at, to try and play from deep. That's not where he's hurting teams. And Saka, not once was Saka able to, stretch Kurachaya, because guess what? He had to come from deep as well, because our manager messed up our midfield. Simple. And normally when you have Tavares, a left back, Martinelli can make those penetrating runs down the left because he's got an overlap. But guess what? You can't do an overlap with Granit bloody Xhaka at left back. Exactly. It's simple football. What is this guy doing?
I knew it was going to be a long day after about a minute and a half of the game when Danny Welbeck very nearly got clean through on goal off a one kick. Yeah, I knew it was just going to be a long day, Kenny. I knew it.
Did you see what Mwepu was doing to Granit Xhaka? Did you see that bit in the setting off where Granit Xhaka went in low and you thought, right, the only reasons why defenders going in low on the floor is when they got no pace.
Yeah.
That was before their second goal, where Mwepu ran around him, and then what happened is they got their players on the counter-attack. Every time Brighton broke, they had players in the right positions to score, to get the goals. Their first goal, again, surprise, surprise. Whose side did it come down? Granit Xhaka's side. It's swept in by, Trossard. The second goal, guess, you know what I mean? How many options did they have before the ball finally went to Mwepu, and he managed to make it 2-0? Trust me, just like Crystal Palace, Brighton were comfortable. If Brighton won this 3 or 4, not one fan would have complained.
No.
Not one fan would have complained. After the second goal, surprise, surprise, the people who were singing, hey, Ben, mate, you good, yeah? Who were singing the Mikel Arteta songs. Guess what? They got in time for the last segments of Saturday. And that's when they scored in the bloody 6-8 minute.
It was a fire drill. It was a fire drill,
just like Crystal Palace. I mean, they couldn't wait to get Jeff Stelling's take on it. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening right now. I don't care what anyone says, they're going to say, well, we're punching above our weight and we shouldn't be in the top 4. But hang on here, we sacked managers who couldn't get the top 4. When you're in a position to get in the top 4, the reason why you get the top 4 because you're building up a run of wins. You're building up good form, and these are the important games. But before we get to the 6 pointers, or Chelsea away, Man United who were hopeless, and Tottenham away, we can't even beat Crystal Palace and Brighton. And guess what? It's not an insult. It's because the expectations of a club of our size, we should be doing it. Because previously we were doing it before.
People are sitting there tonight already saying, well, we didn't expect at the start of the season to get top 4.
That's not good enough, Lee. That's not good enough, Lee.
And that's the point, yeah? At the start of the season, okay, cool. Most people didn't think we'd get top 4. But when you're sat 4th with 2 games in hand, yeah, and then your next 2 games are Palace and Brighton, sorry, mate, you've got to win them both. Yeah, you've got to win them both.
Well, that's the thing. Because the reason why you can say that from a position of strength, because we're doing it before. That 10-game run, that run from if you take out Everton and Man United away, we were beating teams we should be beating. We should be going in a row. Premier Leagues, we should be beating Southampton at home. West Ham, played defensive. We should be winning. We were winning those bloody games. So we got ourselves in the position because guess what? Those are the games and the wins that got us top 4 consecutively at this stadium under Arsene Wenger, and it nearly got us top 4 under Unai Emery. So I don't know why these guys are making excuses. You can't have it all. When we won against Aston Villa and we won against West Bromwich Albion, we got mullered because we didn't celebrate enough, and that that we were in the mud.
Yeah, funny that. Because all I've had in my comment section tonight is you were right, Lee. You were right, Lee. What happens, Kenny, is people start off against people like us. They start with the hate. They'll come and hate on us. Then they all disappear when it goes on a bad run. And then eventually they get round to our way of thinking and go, actually, yeah, they were right. Well,
yeah, but we don't want them to do that. We don't want them to do that. All we want them to do is understand it's a 38-game season, and that the fact is that their expectations as a football club should be higher than what they're expecting. There's nothing wrong with defending your position on Mikel Arteta if you fan. But come on, admit that when he gets it wrong like he did today, that is costly when you're in the jaws. And let's face it, yes, you can't really say you're in the jaws of the top four because there's still about 8 games left. But
it was in our hands. It was in our hands. It's now not in our hands. It's now in Tottenham's hands.
Well, yeah, maybe so, but they still got to go Anfield and get something. But the fact is that a week ago we had 2 winnable games and we got splattered in both those games on the aggregate of 5-1. And a lot of that stuff.
We've conceded 3 goals less than last season.
Yeah.
Right. With 8 games to go, and we've conceded 1 goal less than Brighton this season. They ain't won a game for months.
Yeah, well, see, Lee,
1 goal less than Brighton, Kenny.
That is the situation. Don't make things difficult than they have to be. The second half against Crystal Palace, Smith Rowe was poor. You should have taken him off and played Gabriel Martinelli down the left-hand side. But what's that? You keep with Smith Rowe because I understand because you've got goal scorer. But today he should have come off. Eventually, you make that decision, and you make a decision on Martinelli to bring on them players that you've been neglecting, like Nketiah and Pepe. But the fact is, you didn't have to get yourself in that situation. You have to learn to trust Tavares and not imbalance your midfield. If you can't trust Tavares, then at least see if you can get someone like one of the defenders to play at left back and at least give yourself a genuine midfield free against teams like Brighton who dominate possession. It's simple football. Why complicate things?
Exactly. Listen, we're going to do player ratings in a bit. I know you're going to stick around the stadium and we're going to do them outside. Yeah. So maybe in about half an hour, 25 minutes.
Good, mate.
I'll send you a text.
All right, good.
Yeah? Nice one,
Definitely.
Kenny.
All right, speak to you. Bye.